Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Red with a Splash of White. It's episode number 4, and this week we're back to normality, so to speak, after a weekend of specials and mini specials. Of course, I mean the first big game of the weekend, or the big game of the weekend, was Liverpool and United, which finished 0-0. Just want to step on.
It was brutal to watch. Obviously, we started off very well. We were breaking down United very easily. Then we just couldn't score. Firmino had an easy chance in front of goal. He rolled it. Just brutal finishing the whole game. United, obviously, Alisson made some great saves near the end. As we spoke about in the review pre-match, it was going to be
Shameless plug for if you want to go back and watch the mini special.
a game of goalkeepers. United were, I don't know what Rashford was doing. He was offside at least five times. Just all around per game.
Yeah.
From the performances, it deserved to be 0-0. It deserves to be 0-0.
It's starting to become the norm now. All the Liverpool United matches get hyped up. And then it just leads to disappointment.
Yeah, exactly. Look, Liverpool had 17 shots, but only 3 on target. As you say, Klein. Firmino had three decent chances, but surely there's, I know Harper, you said last week that Salah's been frustrating you for a while. Was it the same story again on a Sunday?
It's the same. I just no confidence in him at the minute when he gets on the ball. Shaw marked him out of the game, which. Yeah. Shaw's playing well at the minute, but if Shaw's marking you out of the game,
wee bit worrying. Yeah.
It's something to worry about. But I think Firmino's the most to worry about of the front three. He's not been at himself for a long time.
It's been months, I would say, he hasn't been at himself, and you sort of talked about you'd like to see Minamino brought him to the side. Do you think he might have offered something different? Would have been something else to worry about for United?
Just some fresh idea, yeah. It's something United probably haven't seen. For me, it was just the same old.
Yeah.
In terms of the match, Liverpool, we started off bright. Mm-hmm. Shaqiri was finding nice pockets between United's midfield and backline. We were getting plenty of chances out of it. I think United then must have caught on to that. Slowly worked their way back into the game. I enjoyed the first half. Good match. Second half was awful. I was never so glad to see the ref blow the whistle.
Exactly. Not that, of course, in the first half he blew it too early. At least in the second half he blew it in the right time. You talk about United sort of snuffing out Shaqiri, but United didn't offer very much. I felt. I thought that Pogba was probably their best player on the pitch. He was trying to do things. He was trying different things. But, they didn't do much against a very makeshift centre-half pairing of Henderson.
Two centre midfielders.
Yeah.
In the middle of defence, and they didn't cause us much threat. Well, bar the 2 chances, but Alisson done well, yeah.
Yeah, well, Alisson, I had money on Pogba to score, but I'll not hold it against him. What do we think? You say I made the point there about Minamino coming on and maybe offering something different. What do we think about United's defence on a whole? I'm sort of alluding more to Maguire and Lindelof as a centre half.
In general, or that game?
Just a game. Sorry, just.
They done well. I think it helped our build-up play was that slow.
Yeah.
Give them time to get back and get it settled in. They got a clean sheet. They done their job. Always probably be pleased. Wan-Bissaka as well was very good.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Mane was a good tussle. Mane was probably the best of our front three, but he was still pretty poor.
Yeah. I think I'm not sure who said it during the week. He said that it was his name's left me. You'll correct me, or you'll tell me. He said that Thiago is not maybe right for Liverpool system. That is that he takes too long on the ball.
There was a few said that. John Barnes said it. John Barnes and Denier Herman said it as well.
That's the one. I didn't see too much of it Sunday myself. But what do you think? I think what you're both going to say, but just sort of.
You can start off, Clay, first.
Well, I love this play. I really love the way he plays. It's just the fact with the way we did play the 4-2-3-1, where they weren't as forward as usual. Some of the balls were a bit odd. They played Shaq. One of the balls they played through to Shaq, they whipped at him. He laid it off, and he just put it straight out for a goal kick. We had it too heavy.
Yeah.
He's I love the way he plays. He was a really bright spark when he first started playing, and it is right. He plays a bit slow, but I enjoy his play style.
Mm-hmm.
I think he is good for the system.
I think it's just an easy target. It's quite a disgraceful opinion from you like Didier Herman. Didier Herman can't speak about slowing down play. He's one of the slowest midfielders Liverpool have ever had in terms of even pass instead.
He was the irony is that I think I remember hearing that he was brought on in the Champions League final to slow it down, sort of just partner up. That's the irony, I think.
Thiago was probably one of our best players on Sunday. He kept going forward constantly. He was taking men on. I don't know why they're making comments like that. Doesn't help things either.
Yeah, well, that was my sort of my point was I think it was a battle of Pogba and Thiago on Sunday. I think both of them stepped up, to be fair to them, as much as Pogba recently, and we say recently the past few years since he signed, hasn't done very much on Sunday. Therefore, I think one player that we haven't mentioned at all, and it's not in a good way. I know Harper, I think you want to talk about this, is Trent.
Trent.
Yeah. What are our thoughts?
He hasn't been at himself either. I suppose you could say that the whole team. Then he was just missing tackles. Everybody was getting in behind him too easily. I'm sure he'll go out of it. I'm not going to worry about Trent, but it's just so frustrating to watch. Klein, yeah.
Maybe it's what I thought to myself. It's maybe the point of the same thing that's happened with Sheffield. Not to that extent, but it's the point that the league is now sussing out how he plays.
Yeah.
The rest of the league is now, obviously, from the way Sheffield went from being so good to being so poor. The league sussed out their play style, adapted, and started using their play style. But I don't. As same as Harper, I'm not worried about him. No. It's just a rough patch. It's one season. Obviously, it was said they've had the COVID scare. He's never came back from it properly. But over time, he will. I have faith in him. I don't see him deteriorating any more than he has.
No.
Yeah. But as long as he'll come back, as soon as we start playing better, obviously he must. When Van Dijk comes back, he'll have more confidence to bomb forward because Van Dijk's there. You'll have. So I have no worries about him.
Yeah,
we're playing poor at the minute, but it might be tonight even. But I think a team's very close to being the end of a hammering by us. There's going to be a game where it clicks. Hopefully it's tonight. But I've just seen our front three for tonight: Mane, Origi, Shaqiri. He's dropped. He's give them boys a rest. Interesting, but I don't blame him.
Well,
needed to be done.
Exactly, needed to be changed.
Salah and Firmino have been rubbish. So.
Yeah, I mean, it's just you're talking about Trent. I think it was a stark contrast of Trent to Robertson. I mean, Robertson on the left hand side, you couldn't get enough running out of him Sunday. Constantly looking for that gap, and there was a lot of space on that left hand side for him because Pogba.
I was so angry. I was so angry. You say the entire first half, you've seen him coming off that left side, and they just don't give him the ball. I know he had the ball in. He had it purling, it went over, but he had so many chances
all over the place. Yeah.
Yeah. So a bit of a dud. I think we've covered. Both teams pretty well there. I think we've covered what we need to talk about. Any more points that you just sort of would like to throw in?
Fernandes quiet again in another big game.
Of course, didn't talk about it, right?
No, it's good. I think he was getting plenty of stick throughout the week, but
yeah,
I suppose he's due. Well, I was going to say he's due an off game, but I think that's a few of the big games now. He's been pretty quiet.
I mean, I suppose the argument that I saw from United fans on Twitter and the likes is he's only been here literally near enough a year now, and within a year he's done so much. So you have to give him that. But in the same token, he's got to try and do something. I mean, the most he did was a free kick that just was a yard or so wide.
It was a good free kick.
Yeah, unbelievable free kick. And then I remember him doing just an absolutely horrific free kick on the left-hand side, tried to get out to the foot pass, just didn't work.
But it was almost typical Fernandes. He'd done nothing, and then he had that shot Alisson saved.
Yeah,
if that went back in the net, if that went in the back of the net, that would have been just prime Fernandes. he would have got all the plaudits. But
So Fernandes. A very poor game. Sort of, I suppose it's one of those 90 minutes I'll never get back. But as you say, that's the way it's been with United and Liverpool the past few years. They've been built up to such an extent, and they just don't deliver. So moving from two title contenders to another title contender in Man City, they played Palace the weekend at the Etihad and won 4-0. I mean, just once again, City really turning on the style and being really dominant. And again, Stones and Diaz. Do we think that's City's best partnership?
Go ahead, Clint.
Well, Laporte isn't back.
Yep.
Or they'll see what happens when that comes out and they play. Stones has got really good form at the moment, scoring the cup, obviously scored twice in the game. Ruben Diaz has played brilliantly as well, so that's going to be a big competition now. They've finally got a set of defenders that work together. Since Company left. This obviously Palace were never going to get anything out of that game the way Palace have been playing at the minute. But it's a good partnership. It is a good partnership at the minute. We'll see what happens when the port comes back, but we'll see.
Yeah, it was a dominant performance. Sort of expected. Once they get one goal in, they'll flood in.
Yeah.
But I think the difference this year is clean sheets. Diaz brought a calmness and leadership to that back line.
Which 9 so far.
Not good if you're a Liverpool fan. The
17 game.
That is, yeah.
I think so.
And John Stones, fair play to him.
Yep, absolutely.
Confidence just came from playing games.
Yeah, exactly.
Pep's going to have a difficult decision now when Laporte comes back. Who'd he probably put Laporte straight in, to be fair. But
then take out. That's the big question.
He'll pull Stones probably.
Yeah, but I mean, could you make an argument for Stones moving into midfield? I mean, he has that ability, or is it too late now to be sort of? I mean, that's a very long shot.
That's the thing. Who would he go? That's the thing. Who would he go 1 for? The three of them are playing.
Well, I mean, Rodri. I mean, no, Harper, you're not Rodri's biggest fan. I mean,
probably just keep him at the back, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, obviously, De Bruyne's sort of got a torn hamstring. We've just found out there for a few weeks. But I mean, again, he was just running the show as per usual. I mean, the ball he played in for Stones' first goal was just unbelievable. Like, I mean, proving again why. No, sorry.
City goes, De Bruyne goes. Like De Bruyne turns it on, City will turn it on.
Yeah. Just an unbelievable. But Palace, I mean, 2 shots in the whole game. I understand the argument is, well, that's the football that they play, and City are in such good form. But I mean, with Zaha and sort of Eze and that sort of those attacking threats, do we think maybe could have gone for a wee bit more?
Did Zaha come on? I don't know if Zaha didn't start anyway. I can't remember if he was out of the game. I see Benteke was on the bench. I think he would have been better of a threat up front than Ayew. He'd be more of a handful for the City defenders. But it's same old Palace.
Well, I was wrong. Zaha didn't even make it into the squad, so that's my fault. I am completely wrong there. But I agree with that. I think that Benteke definitely should have started. I mean, why he didn't start, I don't know. I mean, they brought in Batshuayi. Again, a decent player, but you would have had more to think about if you had Benteke up front in terms of Stones and Diaz.
Yeah,
I suppose it's the point they're thinking to themselves, we're going to lose this game anyway, rest people. But obviously they don't think about that going into the game. They want to win, but they don't really have much chance.
No.
Another player again doesn't get mentioned much, playing very Gundogan. Obviously, he scored. He's been great at the minute. Just want to give him a mention. He's just been playing very well. It's just
absolutely.
Obviously, once De Bruyne will go out, Foden will probably go on. Foden will probably start alongside him now with Rodri and behind. So we'll see how that partnership works.
Yeah, I mean Gundogan was signed from Dortmund with such a. I mean, obviously he went to the Champions League final with them. I know we're talking 7 or 8 years ago, but even still, he went and he was such a bit of a dynamo in the midfield. Sort of, good passer, tidy with the ball, and he sort of seemed to struggle for the first few years. He just couldn't really find his legs with City, but now he seems to be, definitely.
He's coming on well this year, isn't he?
Absolutely, yeah. He's done really well.
Kind of from out of nowhere too.
Yeah.
From not doing anything one season to a season, been great.
Yeah. So I think City again just turning it on, and obviously you're still both saying that City are definitely the main rivals for the title.
Yeah.
I'd have to agree there. I think the way they're playing and the squad they have is they're definitely capable. So moving on, I think to a team who's again right up there in Leicester. Leicester beat Southampton 2-0 at the weekend. What do we think about Leicester? I mean, is this all going to come tumbling down for them, or do we think they're doing this?
I'm hoping it doesn't. Sort of hoping Rodgers.
Oh, go ahead.
I'm hoping Rodgers sort of proves me wrong. I think everybody thought he bottled it last year. I've seen there's commentating saying the other night that Leicester we have to keep it going this year. Hope they do. They're playing really good football.
Yeah.
Solid defensively with John Evans.
And Fofana. Fofana's been an absolute.
Fofana's been great side.
Yeah.
Justin James too.
Yeah.
Justin James seems to play. He can play on the left side or on the right.
Mm-hmm.
Good time to be a Leicester fan.
Yeah, and then of course James Maddison again's been turning it up, and of course I think you're both as well as Wilfred Ndidi. I think is just an absolute mountain in the midfield.
He's great.
If you're looking for a defensive midfielder to just sit there, protect the back four, and do as much running as you like, he's your man.
If we didn't have Fabinho, he's the man I'd want.
100%.
I'd want in there.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm gonna come on to Danny Ings and Southampton now briefly, but before I do, Jamie Vardy. I mean, he's coming not to the tail end of his career. I think that's maybe a wee bit disrespectful for him. But do we think that if he was to retire at the end of the season, which is unlikely, I know, but do we think that Leicester could cope without him? Who do we think he could be replaced by? Who would you sort of be looking at?
Well, internally, Iheanacho isn't good enough, I don't think. Well, I suppose he hasn't got any chances to play. We've already there, but I think when Iheanacho left City, he should have went to a lower tier team. They get better because he never got any chances when he was at City. He got the rare game. Who could they get? I'm not even sure.
They want to go with the same prototype of player, or do they want to change it up?
Yeah,
I think they need to go with the same type of player.
Absolutely.
Get a speedster up there.
I mean, do you think? I mean, we're going to come on to Danny Ings and something, but do you think Danny Ings would leave Southampton to go to Leicester, or would Leicester go after him?
I think he would go to Leicester, but I think he wants Champions League football, and Leicester can offer that.
Absolutely.
Sure
absolutely.
Sure would, yeah.
I mean, Ings obviously wasn't even in the squad at the weekend. He had an illness. Is it no Ings, no party for Southampton? It's quite a bad pun. I thought it made sense.
They started. Oh, sorry. They started off pretty well with the Leicester were playing passive. Che Adams was getting them behind. They were playing well. And Lundaloo looks pretty decent. Scoring the cup. Good young player. They had a great strike from Armstrong. I forget what half that was in. But a big strike at the crossbar. But once Leicester turned it on, they didn't really have anything. It is a point that without Ings, it can be brutal. but
Away to Leicester is a tough place to go.
it is.
Yeah.
For any side, it really is.
It is indeed.
I think.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Sorry.
Because even possession-wise, I think Southampton maxed them up well.
Yep.
It's a pretty even game, bar obviously
it
they got
was.
beat 2-0, but it's not as if they played really bad or anything.
Yeah, they had more possession, but they only had 8 shots to Leicester's 15. Now was that? I mean, I know you said they didn't play badly. Was that just Leicester having a better game plan than Southampton, or just the quality?
That's probably quality. Leicester were probably just better on the night. Yeah.
Yeah. Do we think there needs to be questions asked to Shea Adams in terms of stepping up to the plate a wee bit?
I'm gonna say, I think he's doing okay. Started off pretty poor at Southampton. How long has he been there? A year yet?
He just signed a year because Leeds were not looking at him, and then he decided to leave. It was Brendan Rodgers, or not Brendan Rodgers. Ralph Hassan put it over Bielsa, but I'll say no.
He barely got playing at the start. I think more game time now. His confidence is going.
And
getting better.
Yeah, and I think having Ings beside him as well is massive confidence booster. That partnership. Yeah. Okay. Moving on from a surprise title contender this season to the team that were top in Christmas or just in December and sort of have fallen off in Spurs. They won 3-1 against Sheffield United at Bramall Lane. Sheffield United were definitely in the game. I mean, you look, they had 14 shots against 15 shots and 5 on target and 5 on target. I mean, they were in the game. Do we think there's obviously definitely hope for them to build off of for the rest of the season?
They do played. They obviously got the one and against Newcastle, scored against Spurs, which is an okay sign. But per defending again from Sheffield, what we're talking about, we were. It's interesting to say the least. They might build off it. They might start to get a good run of form. But yeah.
No, go ahead. Sorry, no, go ahead.
I keep saying Leicester. Sheffield United. They started the game bright. I think that goal killed them from Ori. So it was a poor goal to concede. Spurs then sort of dominated for a spell, and then the second one from Keane. That was a great strike. For them, to be fair, they battled back. McGoldrick again. I think he's only scored against the top sides. I think. Some stat like that.
Which is surprising for a player of his average quality. You know.
Getting the Leeds team.
We'll come on to that, I'm sure.
But now Spurs are a good one away from home.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, I think it's very similar to sort of Leicester and Southampton in that the quality sort of obviously shone through. Kane, Son, and Ndombele were the difference. I think we can all agree on. Moving to obviously, Sheffield conceding 3 goals. Ramsdale only made 2 saves in the entire game. Now, considering Spurs had 14 shots or 15 shots, that's not really too good. I mean, Herbert, I know you said that Bournemouth had robbed Sheffield United getting any money from him.
Yeah. We spoke about him quite a lot. Just anytime the ball comes near him, it's sort of just a whole panic. You don't really see him making any wonder saves or anything like that. They keep them in the games, which they're going to need. They're going to need him throughout the season. They're going to get getting peppered by shots. I think Bournemouth won that one.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I mean, Sheffield United, there's some positives there, but I mean, Spurs again, the quality is sort of shining through. And do we think that Spurs could maybe? I mean, I know they're 5th. Where do we think they can sort of make a charge back up the table?
I honestly don't know with this season.
I don't know. The teams you see in front of them, you never know. But it'll be interesting to say the least. They might end up Europa League again. With the way the season will go, and you never know. They could fucking end up 10th.
Like somebody said, pick your top 4, top 5. you might be able to do stuff. You don't know. You couldn't give an order. You really couldn't.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm.
Okay, so moving on from Spurs from one side of London to the other side. In Chelsea, Chelsea won 1-0 the weekend away at Craven Cottage against Fulham. I mean, we've been I don't know if criticised. Yeah, I think criticised is the right term for having a bias against Chelsea, but I mean, there's no real bias needed here. I mean, Chelsea just
it's rightly deserved, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, fair enough. They won quite comfortably, but I mean, Fulham down to 10 men, and Fulham actually were quite in the game up until that point.
Fulham were right in the game. Reading the shots, you can say, "Oh, Chelsea had a lot more shots and stuff like that." Fulham are playing well under Scott Parker at the minute. I think their confidence more than anything. Stayed in the game, and then it was just a pity, sort of an Areola mistake.
Yeah, I know you're not as big as fan.
Then Mount finished it well, to be fair to him.
No, go ahead, Clang, you right?
What I had there, Chelsea had 10 different shot takers in that game. They only scored 1 goal. They were dominant. They can't say anything about it. They did play well as a team. Obviously, Kai said only the error from Areola really sourced the goal. But it's a thing from Chelsea. It's evident from the Leicester game that they need consistency. They do need to get more consistent.
Yeah,
but they don't have it at the minute at all.
No,
exactly.
What do you think of the red card? Did you see? I thought it was harsh.
Yeah,
I can see why it was given, but I think it was harsh.
Yeah, I mean,
there's no studs or anything shown, but just for the way he flew in it.
Yeah, I think that's
what made most of it as well.
Yeah, obviously, but I mean, that's how you get players sent off, is that you make the most of it. But but yeah, I mean, there was no studs shown, but I think it was the fact that he was out of control and it was just a wee bit dangerous. You know, it is a red card nowadays. I mean, we're talking about Chelsea. You know, they had 21 shots on target, but 21 shots, but only 6 on target and 1 goal. I mean, that's not good enough in front of the goal. And then, of course, the other night they got beat 2-0 by Leicester. I mean, they're just fair enough. You beat a Fulham side 1-0 who had 10 men, and you know you can, that's all well and good. But if you don't do it against the bigger sides like the Leicesters and such, then
some of the team selections were baffling. Like, if you want to go that Leicester game, I know Werner's not in form, but you're playing Tammy Abraham up front with Leicester, not even Giroud. I don't really rate Tammy Abraham. I think even Werner's not playing well, but I think you have to play. You pay big money for him. I think you have to play him.
Yeah, to try and make him play through this sort of bad patch and sort of try and find a bit of form. Yeah, I mean, what about Fulham? What do we think? I mean, obviously we said Parker's got to play good football, but I mean, I think they haven't won in the last 5. I think they haven't got a win in the last 5. I think maybe even longer than that.
It's the goal score is the problem.
Yeah.
And they keep going to play in the way I think they're playing. They keep playing good football. I'm confident they'll be able to stay up. It's just a matter of they can keep this up.
Yeah.
But they're going to need to get a win soon. But they probably target a striker. It's just difficult who you can get in January and at what price.
Too many draws, and I mean, but they have Mitrovic. Mitrovic was on the bench last night, I think.
I don't think Parker wants anything to do with them.
No, I don't really blame him, to be fair. I think he's a bit of an arse.
Just because
he owed Ben White
does too much risky stuff.
Yes, that is the main reason, to be fair. But I also just don't like him. So moving on from one relegation side to another relegation threatened side in Newcastle, who lost 3-0 to Arsenal. Arsenal have seemed to find a bit of a rhythm now. Arteta's sort of got them playing in that bit of a rhythm. But again, it's against a relegation threatened side, so it's sort of, you can only look at it sort of at it in so many angles.
Stevie Bruce has let me down. I spoke about him in the Spurs podcast. He's not putting in good lights. I think he's trying everything too. He's trying more attacking. He's bringing in different lineups, and it's still not working. I think it won't be long. He's sacked.
the point is now the way he's been trying everything. It's the point of, is it him or is it the people on the field? But then you can't just you can't sack the team.
No,
you
exactly,
can't
yeah.
you can't sack a team. So someone has to be held responsible. Again, I like Steve Bruce, the manager. Is very I do like him. It's just the point that, as I say, there's no creativity at all.
No.
It's just Arsenal obviously deserved they won because they played better ever since obviously the Chelsea game. They've just flipped and started playing.
Yeah.
They just got a obviously Aubameyang was looking dreadful all season, and there you go, he scores against Newcastle. Obviously, can say it is Newcastle, but he's finally got some. He's also now getting a lease of life.
What do you think of Bruce Spreckle?
I like him as a manager. I do. I mean, obviously, he's spoken. I think any manager who speaks very highly of Bielsa is always in my good books. But I mean, I agree. I agree with what you said in that he was doing the best with what he could. Obviously Newcastle haven't spent very much. Mike Ashley's that type with his cash. I don't. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't know if he is trying everything. I mean, Newcastle only had 4 shots, but then again, maybe it's him trying to tell the players to do one thing and they're doing another, and they're just not on the same wavelength in any way.
Yeah.
You sack Bruce. Who do you go after?
That's
Tony Pulis.
Who's going to want to work under that owner, like
exactly,
Ashley. But
and then
if you look,
doesn't want to do it again.
Exactly. If you look at our Newcastle starting team, if Wilson and Carroll up front, Joelinton and Almiron all playing.
Mm-hmm.
So to be fair to him, he's throwing attackers in there. Yet they still made 1 shot on target all game.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, four shots in the game and then probably 1 shot on target. Going back to Arsenal, what do you think about Smith Rowe? I mean, you say the Chelsea game was the difference, but has Smith Rowe been the difference, or has it been a team effort?
Well, he does look to be a great young player. Kind of out of nowhere, really. Obviously, Arsenal fans would know him more, but he's from what I've seen, he's been pretty good. It's more the expectance now that young players are coming into teams and they're expected to be playing well. Obviously, Curtis Jones, and then the times that Gilmore got to play for Chelsea. Greenwood, these young players coming onto sides now are performing better than what youth players maybe 10 years ago weren't that standard. Maybe that's the standard of the training facility. Sorry.
Yeah. Sorry. Go ahead.
To me, it is just the standard of the training facilities that they're getting now compared to years ago, but they are coming through, and there's a lot of youth talent. They're playing much better than you'd expect them to.
Smith Rowe, confidence on that side now, probably fresh ideas. Confident, when he looks beside him, he likes Aubameyang. He probably feels great knowing he has the quality to play in a team with a player such as Aubameyang and Lacazette.
Yeah,
fair play to Arsenal.
Yeah, absolutely. Another big win. I mean, obviously thumped West Brom, and I'm not sure who else in between, but excuse me. Arteta's definitely turned around for them. They sort of seem to be getting back to that sort of form they were at the tail end of last season. That type of idea. So I mean, definitely fair play to them. But do we agree with many Newcastle fans, calling for Bruce's head? In terms of the football being played and sort of the results and this, that, and the other.
They have 19 points.
Mm-hmm.
They're 6 or 7 off relegation.
Yes, 7. I think they're 7 off relegation.
It's getting near that point. If they keep going, they need to see if they can get a win from somewhere.
Yes, something needs to give.
But if they keep going the way they're going, he's going to run out of. Brissy's going to run out of. He's not making excuses, but he's going to run out of. He'll have no excuses to make. Which I feel bad for him he goes because I don't know who else is going to do a better job.
Yeah, exactly. And he's been there for a few years now, hasn't
he? Yeah.
So I mean, it'd be sad to see him go, but I mean, at the same time, who comes in from that's the big question. I mean, so
that's what Newcastle need to look at themselves.
Yeah.
Yep.
From
the top, the whole way down through the clubs, a shambles.
Yeah, absolutely. So I mean, moving on from Newcastle here, of course, relegation candidates to another relegation candidate, in West Brom, who won 3-2 against Wolves. I can't remember the last time I seen a big Sam side involving a 3-2 thriller. But I mean, after all sort of slagging him last week, he seems to turn around a wee bit.
I watched it. It was a cracking game. Fair play to West Brom. I don't know how they managed to pull that result.
No, exactly.
Wolves haven't been playing too great. I think we're a bit worried of his Wolves fan. No. They're all over the place. But I think there was a few dodgy calls in the game as well. With not surprising, Michael Oliver and David Coote are doing the game. They're not a good pair together.
Yeah. That's Sam's first win with West Brom since coming in. Do we think that this can maybe be the start of a fight back? Maybe to sort of push on and get it and avoid relegation?
Well, they would just have. It's just the point of continued momentum. They just need to keep on going. Obviously, as Snodgrass is looking to be actually surprisingly a good sign on the prop. He's playing well. He's just brought a new element. The West Brom, obviously former Leeds player, but long time
that
ago.
is a big Sam signing though. Like if somebody said,
it is a big Sam.
He's going to play for salary. That is
not surprised.
Player.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
We talk about momentum and confidence and such. Pereira, Matheus Pereira, he got a brace there at the weekend. Do we think he can maybe kick on and start doing things? I mean, he was obviously such a great player in the Championship. Do we think he can maybe push on and do a wee bit more in the Premier League now?
I think we spoke about him at the start of the season. We were saying it was key that they held on to him. He's talented. When he gets the ball, he'll make things happen. The problem is smaller like West Brom getting time on the ball and having possession doesn't come across quite often. He has to do more without the ball.
West Brom.
Yeah. He did score 2 penalties, but even in parts I seen him on Saturday, he was looking to make things happen. He was bright.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, in terms of Wolves, I mean, they dominated the ball. They had 68% possession, and they had 24 shots, but only 6 on target. Are they really missing Jimenez? Is that the key for them?
That seems to just be the catalyst. That seems to be the catalyst. Way out Raul, they haven't done anything really. Silva's shown some bright spots, but obviously bringing back Crotone off loan, Gibbs White as well. Gibbs White played striker, I think, in one of their games.
Yeah,
started striker. It's just the fact that wherever they don't have that centerpiece. They don't have the centerpiece of the team that can hit it from really anywhere. They had a good strike on it. Obviously, they lost Jota as well, but it's the point now they're going to need him back as soon as possible. Obviously, I seen them saying he's in extremely light training. That's an upside for Wolves fans looking in. If you've seen him, it was this effect's been shocking. If you've seen him, either they showed a coverage of him in the Everton game, and you could see the big massive scar line, obviously, in his head.
Nasty injury.
The quicker he's back for them, the better. As to whether he comes back the same player with the same confidence, that's yet to see. But Yeah, they need him.
Yeah,
They really
absolutely.
do.
I mean, obviously Fabio Silva got his first goal for the club at the weekend, or at least first Premier League goal for the club anyway. But still, 14th, 22 points and no wins in 5, and it might even be beyond that.
It's tough one. I don't know if it is just Jimenez, if it's something deeper.
Yeah,
They're not playing. Like, they're not playing well at all. They've lost rhythm completely. I suppose you could say he's the main man up front. They need their focal point, but I don't
yeah,
think he's playing Adama. I don't know if he knows what to do with Adama. It's a bit disappointing too because Wolves are such a good team to watch normally.
yeah, exactly. From the 2 previous seasons you've watched them, they've always been a really exciting side to stick on. And obviously we've talked about Adama having his bright spots, but I mean he just didn't do it at the weekend, and that's against a pretty poor West Brom side when he should have been doing it.
Yeah.
So the pressure should have moved from Jimenez to Adama now. He has to sort of maybe start stepping up and
It's a step up, yeah.
Yeah. So from moving from an exciting side, or used to be an exciting side in Wolves, to possibly the most boring side in the Premier League in Burnley, and West Ham aren't far behind them. West Ham, of course, won 1-0 at the London Stadium. Weirdly, Burnley had 55% possession, but West Ham had 15 shots. Is it a case of Burnley got the ball? Yes, but they didn't know what to do with it because of the style of football that they're set up to play.
That could have been a tactic. By more, well, it might have been let Burnley have the ball. They're not used to having it. Let's see what they can do if we set off them. What they can do in possession. And Burnley might have been, geez, we've never had the ball so much. What do we do here with it? But we're questioning Bruce at Newcastle. Surely it's time to question Sean Dyche at Burnley. They were 17th in the table, 16 points.
Yeah,
I'm not saying too much now, bearing in mind we play them in 15 minutes. I'm not saying anything.
Well, the Burnley strikers didn't create any chances. I think Wood had one chance. I don't think Barnes hit the target once. Congrats to Antonio for hitting the 40 goal club at West Ham. Only one of 4 players to score 40 goals.
One of 4 players to score 40 Premier League goals.
It's the Canio and 2 other people. I forget who they are.
Get that up in this mental piece.
Oh, that's amazing.
Burnley, I've seen Burnley being linked with 2 people: Lewis O'Brien from Huddersfield and Jason Knight from Derby.
There we go. That
is
they're not immediate effect players.
Short of
they're Burnley. They are Burnley silence.
Yeah,
they don't have money. They don't have enough money to splash out on big players.
I've never heard 2 more Burnley.
They're not going to have immediate effect. They're not going to be. They're good. They're young. That's the only real good thing you can say about them. They're young players.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it was an expected. In my mind, it was an expected low scoring result. It was going to be a 1-0. Dyche obviously happy with his defenders even on losing, as his interview was.
They seem to have lost that way. They seem to have lost that.
Yeah, that tough debate and really hard, hard.
Yeah.
But I mean, I always thought when I thought of Burnley that they were this hard side and they were, they took no whatever, and but whenever we played them, right, and I know it's the modern game, I've never seen a team go down like it, or not go down like it, but they went down really easily. And Sean Dyche is the biggest whining manager in the league, I'd say. Maybe
diving.
Oh, but like he complains about other players diving, but his there was multiple times when we pushed to get out there, and I know it's the modern game, contact is minimal, but geez, they go down like a sack of potatoes. Like he's just, I think Sean Dyche's a massive hypocrite, and I think that, as we said last week, the sooner he leaves, as brutal as it is, the sooner he leaves, the better.
Fair play to West Ham though.
Exactly.
7th on the table. Moisey's got them playing.
Absolutely. Four on the bounce as well. And they're grinding out results. Obviously, Klein, you mentioned Antonio. I think Antonio's been a really good player, or is a really good player, and has been really good this season.
He's really raw, but he gets the job done.
He does good.
and he's a big boy.
Oh,
He'll
he's a big
surely off a
boy.
ball. Wouldn't want to go up near him.
No.
So moving on to our final game of the of the weekend. Not a game that I particularly want to talk about, but
We can cut it off here and stop now. You don't have to talk about it.
We'll just avoid it.
Leeds Brighton at Ellen Road. Leeds beat 1-0. Maupay once again haunting Leeds in terms of scoring a goal against us once again. But I have to give a full credit to Brighton before I say anything else. Brighton were excellent. They had a game plan. They stuck to it. And as much as it pains me to say it, Ben White was unbelievable in that midfield. As depressing as that is. What do we think about Brighton? I mean, obviously, I chat away about Leeds, but what do we think about Brighton in terms of pushing up that table maybe and sort of turning it around?
We I think it was first podcast we spoke about Brighton, and we said I mentioned they're playing good, but at what point it's not luck. It's not unluckiness. It's just the way they're playing.
Mm-hmm.
I think on that day they got a result. They probably they got the result they deserved. They were hoping for.
Mm-hmm.
They did play some great stuff, and you know, like this bracket, but it could have been a lot more than 1-0.
Exactly. Oh, absolutely. It could have been 3 or 4 at half time. Never mind full time. And that they were helped massively by Leeds just being really poor in the first half. Again, obviously Leeds dominated the ball, but I mean, we had the same amount of shots on target as them. And shots.
I think it sort of suited Brighton playing against Leeds. Leeds play football. Leeds are high press, and Brighton play football as well. I think that helped two teams sort of match up against one another.
Yeah.
But no, fair play to Brighton.
Absolutely. I mean, Klein, what do you think? What do you think about Graham Potter?
He gets people to play for him. Unexpectedly, players have been performing really well. Adam Webster been playing very well. Veltman playing right back. They're on their right hand side has been very unexpected.
Yeah, he's a left back by trade, I think, or centre half. One of the two.
Centre
He
half.
played both. He played both Friday, actually.
Yeah.
Obviously, they're waiting for Tariq to come back. But they've been playing very well. They've been playing very well. They just seem to be a side that they gel together well. It's kind of like it's like your Burnleys, it's like your West Hams, well, West Ham sometimes, but they link together well. They might not all be the best players. They're not the best players on planet Earth, but they've got this link together that have decided that they've went right. We're going to go for this. He's been surprisingly good with them in my mind. I do like them. I do. It's another manager that I do like. It was a great replacement after I forget who they had beforehand, but
Chris.
But yeah, he's been good. Yes, Chris.
Who's now at Nottingham
Forest?
Yes.
Yeah, Nottingham Forest.
Weird language.
Brighton have good players. They have like neat and tidy players on the ball. They play good football. Your boy McAllister now seems to do more in the team.
Yeah,
a lot of stuff seems to went through him on Saturday. And then Maupay hunted Leeds again, took his chance and came. It was a good goal.
Oh, it was a great goal. Absolutely, a brilliant build-up play, and just
wasn't
shadows at that stage. I'm gonna go into a bit of a rant here. And you both know I was annoyed about this. So Sky Sports tweeted, "Are the wheels coming off for Leeds?" And had a video of the goal along with it. I think that's a bit disrespectful to Leeds. In terms of we're sitting 12th. There's 8 teams below us. Let's look at the 8 teams. Palace have 1-1-5. Wolves has no wins in 5. Newcastle the same. Brighton have 1-1-5 against us. Burnley have 2 wins in 5, but they're inconsistent at times. Fulham have no wins in 5. West Brom have 1-1-5, and Sheffield United have 1-1-5. And even if you look up the table, and obviously it's getting incomparable because obviously Liverpool are up in 4th, but Liverpool have 1-1-5. Chelsea have 1-1-5. How come the wheels are coming off Leeds and not coming off any of those sides? That's where I really take issue with it. Everybody seems to, or there seems to be people out there that seem to think that Leeds expected to finish mid-table or pushing beyond, maybe pushing into Europa League. Leeds fans have said, the Leeds fans that I've talked to have known that the target this season is avoid relegation because the squad that Bielsa still has is mainly a championship squad. Anything more, happy days. I don't really get that. I didn't really like that tweet, and I think Sky Sports need to sort of get their heads out of their backsides. So that's a bit of a mini rant to finish off the episode. I think we've covered it. We think we've covered everything really well. Again, and we hope that you've enjoyed it. We'll be back next week. What's the big game? What's the big game this weekend? What's FA
Liverpool
Cup?
United again.
Oh yes, FA Cup.
Yeah.
So it'll be the midweek fixture. What's the big game is Liverpool Spurs, isn't it?
Spurs, yeah.
Next
Thursday,
that'll be
that is,
interesting.
yeah.
Let's see if Jose parks the bus again and see how far it gets him. But yeah, we'll be back to that there with another episode. Thank you very much for watching again. We hope you enjoyed.
Thank you.
And we'll see you later. Bye bye.